Hey y'all, I just want to shoot a quick video and yeah, this is a quick video of me making a scarf. I did this today and it was kind of fun because I was playing chicken with the warp, and you'll see as the video progresses that yeah, what exactly I mean by that. So I didn't actually have everything I needed to make this scarf, so I was just making do with what I had, and that's why I use a piece of white thread to hold the bottom together. I'm going to come back and tie knots when it's all done and pull that out, but that just made it so that when I cut it, it wouldn't come undone. So as you can see, I'm doing some pulled loops, just did, and I'm doing some pulled loops and just kind of going randomly. I can honestly say that I didn't really have an idea of exactly what I was going to do. I just knew I didn't know exactly how much warp I had. Warp is that black strands, the black strands are running up and down, and I wasn't sure if I would have enough warp to use up all of the yarn for this colorway, and so my goal was to use as many shuttles as I could without running out of yarn. So yes. So as you can see, I'm doing all sorts of things, and I'm actually going to be adding a lot more texture as I go forward, because the more texture you have, the less you have on your warp. And so yeah, that's what I'm doing. But I'm also, doing some fun stuff. I just added in some pieces of yarn that I pulled a piece of yarn apart and just split it up and put those pieces in. So this is where I start to add a lot of texture. What I'm doing is I'm doing pulled loops, and I'm doing them sort of kind of at random, but I'm making shorter pieces and longer pieces just to give a little bit more texture to the finished piece. And yeah, I'm going to continue doing this, and I find that it looks better if it's kind of odd numbers of long pulls. You'll see the difference a little bit further on where I have an even number. But what I'm just doing is I want to give a lot of visual interest to the piece, and so I'm also trying to use up the yarn on my shuttles so that I don't run out, because this was an end of a warp. I'd done a couple of classes on this one, and I knew I didn't have enough for a full class. I just didn't know how much I had left over. So anyway, as you can see here, I'm doing more of these pulled loops. I kind of go short, long, short, long. I ended up the top with some short ones, and I'm just kind of, going for it. And again, pretty much the rest of the scarf is a variety of layers of pulled loops. So this has a lot of those, and I'm just going back and forth. If I didn't pull the loops, the scarf would be substantially longer than what it ended up being. But as you will see as I get towards the end, I'm actually going to cut behind the heddle because I barely had enough warp, which again is the black threads that are running up and down. That's the warp, W-A-R-P, to complete the amount of shuttles that I had wound up in my colorways. So that's a trick. If you want to, if you're taking a class with me, or if you're making a scarf and you have a set amount of warp and you want to make sure that you get the longest scarf, then you don't want to do a lot of pulls. On the other hand, if you want a shorter scarf, you just do a whole lot of pulls. Here again, I'm making do because I didn't have thread to use to do this part, so I just separated the piece to make a thinner piece of thread. I'm actually going to leave this in since it's the same color as the bottom. Cutting behind the heddle because that's all the warp that I had left to make the fringe. The fringe wouldn't be short. Just tying my knots so that, it's not going to come undone. And then I take out that basic hem that I had put in because the knots are there and it's good. Did the same thing on the other end, but I'm not going to take out the hem since the hem is in the same color. And there you have it. That's the finished scarf. You can see the skips and the loops and how it all came out. I think it came out pretty cool. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. All right, have a great day. Bye.